Hello everybody and welcome on my YouTube channel. You are with Alan Rees for today's review of the new Grand Tournament hero who is Ghost Knight. So we will have a focus right now on this hero. First of all, we will check a statistic of Ghost Knight. So, just what is interesting for us is HP. For the beginning, something like 55. This hero will have 62 when he will be 5 stars. Armor class 650 and he will have 720 with 5 stars. Magical resistance will not move so much, but he will get 25 points more with 5 stars, and now he is at 350. And physical attack with actually at 5,000, sorry, will be at 5,500 when he will get 5 stars. You must understand now that with Red 2 gear, it's not for now because we need a minimum 3-4 months to be 105 in level and get his last item, 104, sorry. But his HP will grow up a lot. He will have 70k HP, 920 of armor, and his magical resistance will not move at all because he will get 384. But last statistic with grown up a lot will be his physical attack, who will grown up till 6600, so plus 1000 of physical attack. Let's check his skill now. So we have 4 skill, it's not legendary hero. First skill, the ultimate, it's one skill who will deal good amount of damage, but it's not the first objective for this skill. This skill will put a black hole on the weakest heroes, and all the hero around will be attracted in the middle of the black hole. And when you have a hero with area damage, it will be amazing for them. The first skill is the Wisp. He will give a great hit with his Wisp and disable totally all moving and all casting, but casting only magical casting from the hero. It's one skill really interesting against, for example, timeout team. And this skill will touch 100% for the enemy who are in the same level than him. Second skill, aggressive skill, it's another time he will give a hit with his Wisp, and if the enemy is already target with the mark, with the skill 1, he will get double damage, and it's a really good amount of damage. It's touching everyone and it's stunning everyone, so it's really interesting. And last skill that I like so much, every enemy who will die will create one clone of him. This clone doesn't deal interesting amount of damage. We can tell they deal 1000, 2000 sometimes. It's really low, you will see during the fight. But what is interesting with this skill, it messes totally the enemy configuration. The clone can absorb ultimate, the clone can make, for example, Griffin ultimate in the wrong way, the clone can block the clone control of enemy. It's really interesting fourth skill. So let's check now its position during the fight. You shall not pass! If we check now his position in the battleground, it's really interesting what we will discover, because it's midline strength hero, and if we compare with every midliner in the game, I can show you some of them and I hope you will believe me for the other, but it's the midliner the most front of all the heroes who are in the midline. I show you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tac. I hope I will not miss some other midliner. Tac. Hop. Okay, and I think it's one of the last there. You see that he is the most front midliner. It's important when you will prepare your lineup because this hero has crazy interesting survivability, especially when he's full red one and even more when he will get the stars that he is missing actually. And you can put it there. He will protect the backline most of the time if you have a hero who are near him in the backline or a hero in the midline, like for example Imperial Executioner. He will turn and he will defend them totally good. He's able to defend really strong because he don't care nearly about the avoidance of the other hero. He will touch 100%. I don't speak about his white attack, we don't care about it. I speak about his hit. For example, you have one Arcane Sapper who will jump on Imperial Executioner. He will turn, he will put the wisp on him. He will mark the Arcane Sapper who will lose crazy quantity of life. It's really fast. He will hit second time, he will kill him and it's over. Even if Imperial Executioner didn't ultimate on him, he is dead 100% and it's one good hero who is able to cover with his interesting positionment. Let's go now his skill in action in one by one.
Round 1. Fight!
For the one-by-one fight, I will show you two examples. One against heroes who are not frontliner. So you will see the damage, 12,000 by the second skill. The dot, the first skill, who is pretty strong. This one, you can see the life of Deserlican who is melting. And finally, when he will die, the clone who is invocated. So you can check the stats, the statistic, it's not crazy interesting. And we will see now the second fight. For the second 1 versus 1 fight, we will see even something interesting because it's against Turtle Fighter. So we have the time to use the ultimate that I want to show you. And what is interesting, if we read the description on the spell of Ghost Knight, spell 1, 2, 3 must have 100% of hitting land. And when we will see now, we have two times where he missed. So first time it's now, okay, he's blind, so perhaps it's one mechanic who acts when he's blind. Now he's not blind and he will cast his ultimate. And the ultimate is dodged. So I reported this problem on the morning because it mustn't be possible normally, and this spell normally group all the hero in one point. We will see it when I will use him right after in the full team setup, but for the moment I show you that it has been already fixed, because at the beginning it was crazy miss. Now it's not so much miss, but even this one is not normal, so I want to have an answer and I hope we will have good explanation about it. Okay, now this time it's work. The time is out, okay, it's not a problem. I show you all the skills that I want. He is 90k damage, okay, and we will see now how he's working in a team fight. I will show you two complete fights. This one, the position of Ghost Knight is interesting because for me, Ghost Knight has a special objective in your team. He must be able to control the damage and to control the caster if you have one. When you face against Turtle Fighter, it's difficult because Turtle Fighter is physical and he can't control her really good, but his ultimate will have a good function to put all the team in the same time, in the same position. That's why this replay is interesting. You can see especially Link with the ultimate of Umberblade. You have this result with quite apocalyptic because you have the 5 clones who pop in the same time. I show you the statistic as well. 90k damage, the same damage pretty fast, because if we see the fight was less than 1 minute, and less than 1 minute he helped a lot by the damage, 90k, and the same damage than Amber Blade with really high in damage. Let's see now the second fight. For this fight, in the left side is my team, one team that I use especially in Grand Arena. This team is not really effective against Turtle Fighter team, but against all the rest you can have really great result, because all the heroes are have a good synergy. You see Coated Angel, Amber Blade and Devastator with the ultimate of Ghost Knight, who will regroup all the enemy in one point, like you see actually, and finally when ultimate will come, the clone will spawn instant and mess totally the composition of the enemy, and finally you will have really great result. It's really aggressive combination. The fight is already over, we know it, because even if someone, okay, she ultimate, she will perhaps kill the Ghost Knight, perfect, but the damage are done, and it's only now Dwarf Warrior who was alive. If we see the statistic of the fight, we can see that, okay, Amber Blade did the most, but in second position you have Ghost Warrior. In less than 1 minute he deal this amount of damage. He group all the enemy team in according for sure to the knockback of Devastator, who help too, and he mess the team with the clone. This is really important. Most of the time you can absorb the ultimate of Imperial Executioner when you make turn the Rose Fencer or the Dwarf Warrior ultimate on the clone, and it's all damage that don't come on your team. So we will see now what I think about the strengths and the weakness of this hero. A lot of interesting point, a lot of strength with Ghost Warrior. So for me this hero first of all is able to off tank. It means you have one tank in front, you have him just behind, he has a great armor like we saw. It's totally interesting armor, especially with 3 stars. Don't forget that my isn't 4 stars, but with 700 armor is really good in second line without problem. He has good amount of HP as well, so he can survive. Second things, you have hero who is able to give you a really good support against timeout team, for example, because if you success to knock back the tank, you will be able behind to touch, for example, Cleric or Soul Hunter with the Wisp, and if you success to touch them with that, they are totally disabled and they can't heal at all, and they will be destroyed by your backline. It can be Imperial Executioner or someone else like that. Its hero, I think he really must be paired with our damage. He has one amazing ultimate skill who regroup all the enemy in one point, and behind, when you success to kill one enemy, it's like how to tell, it's like you kill one and you will kill the other just behind, because they are totally messed. You have the clone who will spawn, and it's one other point good for him, because the clone are really able to mess ultimate, to mess the composition of the team, and to spread a lot of damage. And finally, the final point for him, it's a hero who is able to deal correct amount of damage. It's not damage dealer who will deal 300k damage in one fight for sure, but he can deal correct amount 100k without problem in nearly every fight. Let's now see the weakness for this hero. This hero doesn't have so much weakness. For me, he has his main weakness is his magical resistance, because when we see 350, even with full stars and full red 2 gear, he will be 384 in magical resistance. It's really low, and I think in the future, if he take a really important position in the metagame, I'm not sure about that, you will have to deal magic damage on him to control him and to neutralize him totally. And the second bad point for this hero, bad point if we can tell, it's hero who must be totally smartly paired. It means you can put him in every team like you can do with a turtle fighter, and anyway will do good job. If you pair him in one team totally bad, he will be totally useless, and you will not get a result about his strength. If you put him in proper team like I did with Devastator, Corrupted Angel and so on, you can have some result. It's not for sure the only team where it will be useful, but be careful about that. It's aggressive support. It's not one hero who can do all by himself. Let's see now my final advice about him. My final advice for you about Ghost Knight is this one. This hero is actually in Grand Tournament shop, unfortunately. He is with Chemist, Corrupted Angel, Dub King, Haha, Ghost Knight and Troll Princess. If you want priority in this list, I think that Chemist and Corrupted Angel are most interesting in the actual metagame. But you can count on Ghost Knight, and if you have already them, Chemist and Corrupted Angel, you can invest on Ghost Knight without problem. But remember one thing, be careful, this hero isn't easy to play and isn't easy to pair. You must think when you do your lineup, because it's not one unbrained turtle fighter hero who is possible to switch everywhere, or manipulator, it's nearly the same. It's really one hero who depends totally about the setup that you choose. So if you are ready to brain a lot, to mind your game a lot, this hero is for you, because he is really interesting and really unique in his kind of role. So thank you, and let's conclude right now. I really want to thank you a lot. I received a lot of messages for you who cheered me a lot, and I'm really happy about that, because what I'm doing now, it's a great pleasure for me, but when people are satisfied, it's even better. I hope this video was helpful for you, and that now you know better if you want to invest or not on Ghost Knight. You have all the time my Facebook page with upper on my head. You can get a lot of information there about Heroes Charge actuality. You are now more than 200 who are following this page, and I think it's really interesting, because it will be more and more interactive. You can for sure like this video if you like it, and subscribe for my channel if you discover it first time. Don't hesitate to watch my video about the chapter 19 if you still didn't finish it, because for this chapter I have to tell you that it was difficult, but it was a great challenge to do it just after the release, and it's done. So I will have to do now the elite chapter, but I still didn't try, and I think it's really hard in according to what was the normal chapter. Thanks all for watching, see you for another video, bye bye.